Alright, so we're up to month 4 of Warhammer Stormbringer. We've got ourselves issue 12 with the Stormstrike Charriot. It's a nice big one-piece model. However, because it is the 4th month, we get a special present from Hatchworks, or Warhammer, which is our Stormhammer Mug. So it's one of those color changing mugs from when it gets hot. So there'll be an image here and then a character here. Apparently this mug is not microwavable. I'm assuming that's because it will destroy the heat color changing element of the mug. But it is dishwasher safe. So I'll put some hot water in this and show you guys how it turns out. I've got to say that's kind of disappointing, to be honest. I was expecting a lot more vibrant colors, but what you're seeing here, this washed out color, is literally what I'm seeing as well. So that's unfortunate, because this would have looked really cool if it was in proper contrast. But that is the Warhammer Stormbringer mug. Alright, with that aside, back to the model. It is, as you can see here, a double griffin-typed chariot, Gryph-hounds, whatever they are, with 2 Stormcast warriors on there. We've got an archer, we've got a person with an axe on a chariot. It's a really big sprue. It's just connected straight through the middle. So you get the wheels, you've got the griffin things. So this should hopefully be a pretty easy build because it's all in one piece. And the base is quite massive. So to compare that to the ballista that we built last time, this thing fits in the middle. So that chariot's actually quite gigantic. So this one's going to be a pretty fun one to build because it's my largest model build so far. So let's get into the magazine. So as usual, bit of lore, some interesting artwork going on. Here's a little diorama of our first army fighting the Stormcast army that we had as well. So this is what they'll all look like when they're painted. Just trying to get that light out of the way. It's quite a nice piece of terrain on the background, which I'm fairly sure we don't get. This one has a specific grouping that it's from. The Angelos conclaves. Angelos, not sure. Every Stormcast Eternal is part of a conclave, and each conclave has its own distinct tactics for waging war. Stormstrike chariots are part of the Angelos conclave, whose symbol is the twin-tailed comet. All warriors of the Angelos conclave use speed as a weapon. They scout out positions, harass enemy lines, and provide reinforcements where it is most needed. So this is kind of like how Space Marines have their own chapters, basically. Seeing as these guys sort of are a primitive version of Space Marines anyway. So the chariot build, it's quite a few pages on it. But overall it looks pretty simple. It is pushed together, so it's not like glued together one, so that's good. Painting, oh, it actually shows it as painting them separately, so that's good. And they're called Griff charges, so they'll be the usual gold and blue. And by the end of it, we'll have everything painted except for the feathers and stuff on the Gryph-hounds. Then there's just some useless playbook stuff. And then the preview for the next thing. There's really surprisingly nothing really worthwhile in these magazines, apart from the lore. So yeah, if you're going to get these magazines, it's most likely going to be for the minis. So let's get into clipping this out and building our big diorama. Alright, so I've cleaned up all the models. I've separated them out into each part. So we've got the two griffin thingies, we've got the two warriors, and then we've got the chariot itself. Now, I did notice in the book they have mislabeled something. So if you look here, it goes 16 into 20. That 16 is not 16, that's 21. Because that's 16. So they've misprinted on this. It seems to be that they have a lot of issues when it comes to this magazine with stuff not shipping with other things, but now they've got stuff that's wrong in the magazines. Anyway, let's get to building because this is a really cool model. So we start off with the platform, the axle. So these two go into here. So it goes in like that, fairly easy. Two wheels go on either end. So which one do we want? We want this one to be on this side. That surprisingly is kind of hard to get in. There we go. I'm probably going to take these off for painting because it's going to be awkward. Actually, no, I could paint that. That should be fine. And then the flat spots on this one are over here, so they'll go on the floor. Oh, it's actually oval for the... Oh, no. So that's supposed to be circle, but they've got like a bump in it. Oh no, it is supposed to be that way. Is it, where is it? Flat side goes in that way. Which doesn't make sense to me because that means that the flat side's on the top. It really should be the other way around. Unless I take this off and swap the, let's see, they're both like that. Which makes this kind of awkward. Okay, so that fits in perfectly on that side. But it's the wrong way around, so I need to be honest, this is kind of silly that they made a model this way. That no, it's not just circular holes. Oh, now I don't know which side goes which. Let's put the wheels on first. Okay, so that wheel goes in that way. This wheel goes in, it should be the flat part bottom. Yeah, so those line up now. So if you're doing this, do the wheels first because I don't know what they're doing in the model company. However, this is upside down now. Interesting. Okay, so if I swap these around, that goes in that way. There we go. Okay. Yeah, there's a specific way that these go in, and it's kind of stupid. That should be there. So they don't even mention this, but yeah, there's a very specific way that this goes in. So there we go. And it holds itself up, kinda. Okay, the next thing, quiver goes in somewhere and this goes on the front. So we'll just attach this first. Should fit quite nicely. There we go. The quiver, I think, goes in there. I'll just lightly put that in there so I can paint it properly later. Because, yeah, that should just slot in there. And then we have the weird axle thing. So goes like that. This thing points backwards like that. There we go. Now the weird thing is they don't tell you how this slots in, but it slots in there because that peg goes into that hole there somehow. How do I get this to go into the... Yeah, this model's kind of a bit janky. Because that is supposed to go there. But I have a feeling it's supposed to have more room to slot in here. Maybe. Because I can't seem to get the peg anywhere close to the hole there. Unless this thing is the reason why it's Might have to take this off first. Because that allows it to be flush. There we go. That clicked in properly. So I'd advise putting that on first and then putting on the front piece, which should slot in. There we go. Now it's properly attached. That was just really difficult to get in there when this was like blocking it from coming up. So there's our little chariot. Now onto the Gryph-hounds. So that should be this one. 13, 14. So this one goes into there somewhere. Yeah, there we go. So that goes into there. Just a push fit. And then this piece of the face goes on. If I can line it up properly. There we go. So there's the head. Actually looks really nice in quality. Hopefully you can see that properly. Got like a tongue in there and everything. That's going to be difficult to paint. Everything's difficult to paint. Beside with the tail. So the head goes in up here in this hole. Let's try and line that up so we can actually get it in. I don't want to snap this. It's very difficult to get in there. Yeah, I assume that's in as far as it goes. So now this piece goes over here. It's quite slippery for some reason. There we go. I think that's in as far as it will go. You can slightly see through it, but that's fine. And the head seems slightly off now. The head has a bit of wiggle room in here. And then the other side goes on and should hold the rest of it in. If I've got it lined up right. Sort of hard to line up these pegs and holes. There we go. This is a very weird model to put together. There we go. The head just needed to be moved up and the front body needed to be dropped a bit so it could go under the shield. There we go. Solid model now. A bit of... there's a little bit of gap and mold lines, so I don't know whether I should scrape those down or not. It makes sense on the plate, kind of, but yeah, there's like a line that runs all the way through. But other than that, this is a pretty solid model now. So now we're on to the second Gryph-hound, which has a lot more pieces. So this starts with this going into this, I believe. The question is, which way does it go? That way. Yep, there we go. They line up. There we go. And then there's the two head pieces. So this piece, this is confusing. So these two go together. So those two go together, but they attach somewhere. Okay, we have to figure out how that attaches to this. That slots in underneath and then you close this over it. I don't know how that worked, but it did. And the seam is unnoticeable. Like, I can't even tell that that is not one piece. Other than the split in the top. Yeah, I'm confused how that's holding. It's just a piece that goes underneath and then this closes on it. It's whatever. Magic. We then stick this into the same place we put into the other one. This one seems a bit simpler though. It's not as finicky. Just try and push that in a bit more in case there is more room. Yeah, that was a tiny bit. And the other side of the body comes on. Same deal. Just need to line this up. There we go. These models are very solid. And then the two arms go on. And then the Gryph is done. There we go. So we've got the two Gryphs. Now, I really like these. They feel solid. These feel like something from childhood, basically. Like old figurine toys. But like of animals and stuff. They've got that weird thickness to them. So that's those two done. Now we're on to the Malay guy. Alright, so the head goes on. It just holds in there, and then the other one goes on to hold it together. Somehow. This is just holding together. It's not even clipping in, it's just trying to hold it. Okay, there we go. So we've got him held. We have to use this piece to hold them together. Okay, that's gone through and is holding them lightly together. Now I'm not going to fully stick this in because I want to take that out because there's a bunch of paint underneath. And then his leg can go in there. There we go. So there's our Malay Rider. And then we've got our Archer, who is quite complex. So he just goes straight into the back piece. So this one's not finicky when it comes to the body. This goes straight down. No, that goes on the front. Okay. If I can line up these holes. Alright, there we go. This goes on his hand. No, where does this go? Oh, on his back. That was weird, but yeah, that fits in. And then his head is sort of like a clip onto the circle in there. So which way is this guy? He's facing this way. There we go. So he's clipped in. Yeah, this needs to go down more. If you look at that, he's looking straight into his pauldron. Now he's just looking over his pauldron. I don't like this position. It's kind of silly. You'd want a bit more higher visibility than that. I don't know if you guys can see that. But that's his entire line of vision right there. And then the bow just goes on. That's simple enough. I'm going to lightly put it in there so we can take it apart for painting. And that is the build. We just have to put him in. This guy sits on here. And this guy, I don't know where his back foot goes. Or front foot. His front foot goes on this piece here. I don't know why they'd want the Archer in first when this is 1,000 times more difficult when you put the Archer in first. Okay, and then these just drop into the Gryphs. Like so. Alright, so the model's complete. It just fits onto here to be stable. And you sort of have to spread them apart to make it work as well, which is a bit weird. Okay, so that back wheel is very loose. Doesn't actually stick in the thing. So I don't know what happened there, but that does not really sit. But anyway, there is the model complete. So we've got our two Gryph-hounds they're turning off to the side so that the archer can get a shot off down here. Maybe at a gobber. If we have the scene set up, just have the arrow go hit the gobber or orc. So yeah, there is the Stormstrike Charriot. So this one was actually quite fun to put together because it is a bit more of a bulky model. However, taking out the parts and cleaning them up took way too long. So I think so far in this hobby, the thing I hate the most is taking the models out of the sprues and cleaning them up. Painting is close to a second for time sink, but it's actually enjoyable painting. So that's issue 12 done. So I'll see you guys in issue 13.